There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA.
My gosh.
They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west.
Look at that thing, dude.
That's not our LNS though, is it? It's not.
That is the LNS, dude.
Well, if there's like...
Look at that thing.
It's rotating.
Thanks for checking out my new video. I want to talk a little bit about this latest piece of footage that's come out, which was, I believe, released by the New York Times today, showing a couple of FA18 Hornets chasing what we can be described as a UFO, or something unidentified anyway. Do we honestly think disclosure has begun? I've seen a lot of talk in circles around Twitter and other sort of online outlets that were really excited to say that disclosure has finally begun. I'm not so sure. I think it's more likely it's simply another government drip feeding us bits of footage here and there just to throw us off the scent of what's really going on. Don't forget the people that have released this footage are the same people that have lied to us for 70 years about the whole UFO topic. We had Roswell, first it was a UFO, then it's not a UFO. We had Project Blue Book, it was nothing more than a PR exercise. We've had different governments releasing UFO files which have been heavily redacted in places. It's just gone on, and it's a game of cat and mouse, which I think a lot of us are quite honestly fed up with now. The subject of UFOs, it's not a tinfoil hat thing like it used to be years ago. It's a real thing that's happening in the skies above us, and it's something that I think that the governments are frightened of, and I think especially the US government, they know something which I think is too scary to tell us. I think that they're of the understanding that we won't take it well as a general public. I think by drip feeding us bits and bobs here and there, it's sort of satisfying our thirst. And every now and again they'll just give us another little drink of water. I think the new footage is definitely interesting. It shows something which I can't describe as a conventional flying aircraft as I've ever seen one. But ultimately it's a sort of black blob that rotates. I'm sure, in fact no, I'm positive that they will have better footage of this and other objects, which I'm hoping, as Tom DeLonge has promised, that we will get released. But this wasn't exactly the earth-shattering, groundbreaking disclosure that I was expecting from the promises Tom DeLonge was making. We've seen footage of this type before, from the Chilean Air Force one from a few years ago, which was pretty similar. I remember one from, I think it was a New York police helicopter, and that was tracking something darting in and out of the ocean. But ultimately, again, they're just usually sort of glowing blobs, so with no real sort of shape to them, and they're quite hard to distinguish what they are. This subject is always quite controversial one for evidence, because anything released by a government could be quite easily fake. Any footage captured by individuals and the general public can also be fake. A lot of it has to be taken on faith and what we perceive as being the real article. It's definitely a start that this has been picked up by major news outlets such as the Washington Post, New York Times, the BBC, and given quite a bit of coverage on the air and online. But most of the coverage I saw wasn't about the actual UFO that was captured on the film. It was more to do with the government programme that had been researching this, and not the actual evidence shown. Now, the die-hard skeptic is never going to be satisfied unless the aliens land on the White House lawn, as they say, and shake hands with the president. Until that happens, you're never going to convince them. But I believe there's far too much evidence out there now to prove otherwise. There is far too much evidence showing that these things are entering our atmosphere, flying amongst the clouds, flying amongst our own aircraft, and being filmed on a daily basis now, and it seems to be that the occurrences are increasing quite rapidly. Now, that may be just the fact that nearly everybody has a camera handy now on the mobile phones, but even so, it does seem to be escalating quite a bit. Thanks for watching Conspiracy Depot. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time.